Will Johnny Depp return to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise?
No.
Let's dive in.
Do you think, before we get into the rumors about the $300 million deal and if he will return, do you think he should return?
Okay, so this is a really hot topic, I feel, lately, because there's his story and his side, and then there's another side, right? But the fact of the matter is that he did say he felt betrayed by Disney letting him go when this whole thing began with his ex-wife Amber Heard. He actually talked about how that he felt that he put in a lot of hard work to create Captain Jack Sparrow, really worked hard with Disney, and then they just kinda dropped him.
Well, here's a report from this Daily Times. It says, on June 27th, the report surfaced claiming the actor was working on a $301 million deal to return to Pirates of the Caribbean movie franchise. In quotations, Disney is very interested in patching up their relationship with Johnny Depp, a source told Pop Topic close to 4 years after the actor parted ways with Disney. They are very hopeful that Johnny will forgive them and return to his iconic character.
They say a source, but nothing from Disney has formally been announced. Johnny Depp had said, quote, "Having added much of myself, much of my own rewriting, the dialogue, the scenes, the jokes, I didn't quite understand how after that long relationship and quite a successful relationship with Disney that suddenly I was guilty until proven innocent," end quote. End quote. So I guess the answer to that question that you asked me earlier, should he return? I don't think I would. I hold myself really high with pride, and I think unless there's some kind of real apology or some kind of right doing with for this wrong, probably if it was me, that would be the only way.
Well, Johnny Depp says, from Jerry Bruckheimer, he says Johnny Depp at this point is unlikely to return as Captain Jack Sparrow. Which you know what? I think even if he said, yes, I want to return as Captain Jack Sparrow, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Jerry Bruckheimer being the producer and a very well-known producer. He did the 2017 film Dead Men Tell No Tales. He has said this, and I agree with you. I think maybe it's time to just kind of hang that and say the franchise was successful, but let's move on. I'm really excited to see Johnny Depp do other things. I actually really loved him with Tim Burton. I think that's his niche, and I would love to see more.
Yeah, they work well together. And I just the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the first one was great, obviously. The second two after the first one, 2 and 3 were pretty good. Like they weren't as great as the first ones, but they weren't bad.
Yeah, but
And the fourth and fifth one were just downright terrible.
yeah, well, first of all, the first one wasn't expected to be as great as it was. So I think a lot of people had low expectations, and for its time, I think it was really cutting edge, a different way of storytelling. I mean, it had so many neat CGI scenes. I mean, there was just so much and so many layers of that movie that I think no one really truly expected. And that's why it's an iconic movie. It's one of the movies that I actually was fine if they just did one, but I was happy that they continued. That being said, what if they did something like more of Captain Jack Sparrow's story and it's not necessarily Pirates of the Caribbean? It's more about himself.
Like his origin story or something like that. But then Johnny Depp can't play because he's kind of old now.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't know what I want, but I do love Johnny Depp, the actor, and I really truly hope that we have more movies to come just because he's brilliant on screen and I love his weirdness and I can relate to that.
I'll tell you what, when I first saw Pirates of the Caribbean and Johnny Depp's interpretation of Captain Jack Sparrow, I kind of wasn't on board with it.
What?
It's kind of like Eddie from Stranger Things, right? Where the first scene that he's in Stranger Things, I was like, wow, this guy's kind of annoying, but then it grows on you.
Yeah, Eddie was amazing. Not on topic here, but I agree with you. I just can't believe you
check out our last video where we talked about Stranger Things, and we talk a little bit about that as well. But yeah, Johnny Depp, when I first saw him as Captain Jack Sparrow, I didn't really think it fit the persona that what I thought of as Captain Jack Sparrow, but it grew on me over time, and I thought it was a great interpretation. That being said, Johnny, listen, money's money. If someone offers you $300 million to do something, who am I to tell you to say no? But
300 million and a million alpacas, maybe. Who knows?
I mean, how much could you sell a million alpacas for? Like, how much is each alpaca?
No idea.
So maybe if you get like, I don't know, 10 grand for each one, that'd be worth it too. But
Okay.
anyway, I would take the money if it
Well,
was me.
yeah.
But I don't think he should do another one for like leave the money out. Like
Yeah.
take the money out of the equation. I don't think there's a need for another Pirates of the Caribbean in the progression of what he would do with it, because I don't think they did a great job with the writing on the last two.
Well, maybe he'd have more focus and be able to have more of a hand on the steering wheel here. I mean, it is kind of interesting that when the last two came out, he was going through this situation. So I'm not saying the situation after the fact, like during, right? He was in a newer relationship or whatever happened. But anyway, I do want to say that his team, because everything has been circulating on the internet, and I don't know if you know this, but what you see on the internet might not be true.
Really?
Yeah, just so you know. And the team or his representative, Johnny Depp's representative, has said that it is untrue. So right now it's made up, and that
You mean the internet makes stuff up? That isn't true.
so just so you guys know, before you get too excited, like I am, a representative for the actor told NBC News, quote, "This is made up," end quote. So who knows what's going to happen? Although I am rooting for, like I said, more movies because I love all those movies. Actually, it's funny because I've always loved Johnny Depp, but it took me forever to get to see Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know, it was years after it first released that Bruce, you convinced me to watch it, and I
Yeah, you weren't
remember
into it at first.
I wasn't, and it reignited once I saw it, it totally I don't know, I never thought I would be interested in a pirate movie, and all of a sudden I watched it. I should have known, hello, Johnny Depp's gonna make it great, as well as the other actors, they're all amazing. It really reignited my love for acting, and seeing people portray characters on screen was really changing for me.
Question of the show or video.
Okay.
Who, because I do like your idea of this backstory of Jack Sparrow.
Or just even continuation of Captain Jack Sparrow, but it's not necessarily
He's retired. He's old. He's
so
working on.
funny.
He's living off his treasure now. Nobody wants to see that.
But it's not called Pirates. It's like something called differently, but it is based on the character.
Well, back to my question of the show.
Okay.
Who would play that character if it was like a prequel? Who could be as good as Johnny Depp playing Jack Sparrow if it was a story about how he kind of became Jack Sparrow? You kind of hear about it a little bit, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
I want to know who you think could play a great Jack Sparrow as good as Johnny Depp.
Question of the show. Okay.
And do you want to see a retired Jack Sparrow living off his treasure on an island somewhere? Is that a good movie? I don't know.
I think that if you get enough creative people in a room, I bet you could get something out of that. I'm just saying. I don't know.
All right. Well, they had a lot of great actors in 4 and 5, and they got nothing out of those.
Who knows?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. All the details and show notes will be in the links below on the YouTube video, and we'll see you right back here on the next one.
Bye, everybody.